In this presentation, we look at how to construct box plots. So let's start off by considering an example here. Draw the box plot for the data tabulated below. So we have 40 values there. 40, n equals 40, that's our sample size. And importantly, it's already ordered. So it's going to make some particular values very easy to spot. So the data set is in order, so that makes things much easier. If it's not in order, you have to put it in order. So, moving on, we have to compute the median, the first quartile, and the third quartile of this data set. Now, we have 40 values, so the median of the data set is the average of the 20th and 21st values. Now, just to be clear, that's the middle pair of values, and it's the way it's tabulated there is probably hard to tell that, but there you go. So, the median is 59. The first quartile, just use a different color, is the average of the 10th value and the 11th value. Here they're both the same number, so it is 56. And lastly, we're going to look at the third quartile, Q3, which is the average of the 30th and 31st data point, and it is 63. So that was straightforward enough. So we can move on now. First off, what we have to do is compute the interquartile range, and this is computed as 63 Q3 minus Q1, and in this case that is 63 minus 56, and that is equal to 7. Now, also what we have to compute is this value called the lower fence, and it's determined as Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, which is 7. So that is 56 minus 10.5, just doing a bit of calculator work there, and that is 45.5. The upper fence is computed in a similar way. We actually would use this value again, 10.5. So it is equal to 63 plus 10.5, and that's equal to 73.5. Okay, so we have the upper and lower fence sorted out. Now what we're going to do is look for outliers. So let's look at the data set again. Recall that our lower fence is 45.5. What we got to do is pick out values that are lower than the lower fence, and in this case it is 44, and that's the only one below the lower fence. And what we're going to do is look at for values greater than the upper fence, which is 73.5. So we have two values that are greater than the upper fence, 74 and 81, and these are outliers. That's an outlier, and these two are outliers as well. Okay, now what we're going to do is set the lowest value that's not an outlier as a whisker. So this is going to be our lower whisker, and this is going to be our upper whisker. So these are our whiskers. I'll explain what that is very shortly. And just to be clear, lowest or highest value, not an outlier. Okay, so we're able to start our box plot now, and I've tabulated here all the relevant points. So just let's check them off again. We have our outliers here, 44 and 74 and 81. We have our whiskers, which is 54 and 70, and we have our interquartile range here, and Q2, the median. So first off, what I'm going to do is draw a little number line here, and I'm going to put it in black. Okay. Now it's actually probably best practice to actually draw this as a dotted line because it's actually not part of the graph, but we'll proceed with it for the time being. So first off, what we're going to do is draw the box, and the box is made up of the interquartile range values and Q2. So let's suppose on the number line, Q1 is here, 56. Q2 is here, 59, and Q3 is here. So that is the first component of the box plot. Again, Q1, Q2, and Q3, 56, 59, and 63. Now what we're going to do is put in the whiskers. Now these are the values that are the lowest values, not outliers, and this is where the whisker goes. So the first whisker goes at 54. We just put a line there like that and connect it to the main part of the box. So this is the lower whisker, and it is at position 54. What do we do with the lowest value there, 44? Well, actually what we're going to do is just put it as a little dot out here on its own. So 44 out here. We sort of remark upon it, but we sort of don't include it in the main part of the box plot. Now what we're going to do is the upper whisker, which is at position 70. So let's say the 70 is here. We put the whisker there as a vertical line through 70, the upper whisker, and connect it there, like that. And recall that we have two outliers, 74 and 81. I'll just squeeze it in there. So this is 74 and 81. So that is what our outlier, our box plot would look like. I'm going to rub out that black line now. There we go. That is what a box plot should look like there. You would not really include these values as part of the box plot, but I just done it for the sake of clarity in this presentation. And that ends our presentation.